So in the last video course, we covered how to create a landform architectural design from a basic surface. And we're going to continue working on this design. What we're going to do next is create a open to below space from the ground level down to the basement level. And then we're also going to create a helical stairs, 2 sets of helical stairs and a polar array. Later down, we're also going to create a structure for the roof, just to show you how we can maybe make the structure a little bit parametric with maybe like a very simple definition in Grasshopper. I don't want to make it complex whatsoever, just very basic. And you may not even need to use Grasshopper, but I just want to introduce a little bit of parametric design into this. So let's just go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I want to do is I just want to draw a regular line and establish a boundary of where I want the open to below to start. So I'll just draw a random line anywhere for now. Just go ahead and just draw a random line across, right? And let me just move it here. And I'm going to extrude upward 8 feet. And I'll tell you why I'm using that distance. So let me just click on the solid blue dot up here and just do 8 feet, enter. And I'm just going to eyeball it. It doesn't have to be super accurate. So I'm just going to drag it until it looks like it's around 8 feet. I can turn off my O snap as well, just so I can move around easier. So let's go like this. This isn't bad. So reason why I'm placing this surface here at 8 feet is because I want to just get a good sense of where the 8-foot limit is for the ceiling, so that if someone in real life was going to stand here, right? If someone was going to stand here, like they would know, like you would have a good sense of scale, right? Of not being too shallow of a ceiling height and not being too tall at the same time. So I'm using 8 foot as the threshold. And what I basically want to do is I want to subtract this much of the floor on this side, and then I want to subtract this much of the floor on this side, so that the low points are cut open when I'm inside the space and I can look below the space. And so I can go ahead and I can take this piece here and I can mirror it here. If I just do mirror, and I'm just going to mirror it diagonally from this corner of the step to this corner of the step right here, like that. And then I could intersect this with this surface here. If I do intersect and select this large surface and this here, and I'll get this intersection, and I can click on this curve here and this base curve that I have, this base square curve and this curve, and I can isolate, right? And let me just go to render view right here. It's probably very bright, I'm sorry. I can do a rectangle, and I'm just going to go rectangle from here to here. I'm going to go back and unisolate. Let's go back to shaded. Great. So now I have this rectangle here, you see? And so I want to take this rectangle and let me just click on this surface here and this surface here, and let me just do isolate. So you see what's going on. So you see, because if I'm standing in this space here, you can't occupy this space right here. So I want to be able to cut this space off here and cut that space off here and look below, right? And so that's why I have this rectangular piece here. So I'll just go ahead and just extrude it any random dimension. It doesn't have to be special, just any random dimension like this. And I'll just cap it. And then what I could also do is I could mirror it on the opposite end as well, because I know that I also want to subtract it from this side as well. So if I do mirror like this, there you go. If I do mirror, and then if I do Boolean difference, and so select surfaces, poly surfaces, subtract from, I want to subtract from this, enter, and I want to subtract it with this, enter. There you go. And let me just go ahead and just delete this. So now we have this shape here, you see? And so if I unisolate, and I can just, I don't need these anymore, so I can delete them. So if I walk to this space now, so do you see I have this open to below space now? Like this is another level. So if I'm here on this ground plane here, this is how it looked like as a user, as like a user experience, right? So that's why I had that 8 foot as the limit. So if someone is standing here, they're not going to hit their heads on the ceiling or anything like that, you know? Okay, so that part is done. Now, the next thing that I want to do is I want to create a helical stairs. Let me just turn my clipping plane on so I can show you what I'm talking about. So let's go here. Let's go to my properties. And let's just turn this on for a second. Great. So we can look at it in section form. Let me just pull back and turn off. Pull back. So you get a good sense of what's happening here. Okay, great. And then let's do rendered view. Okay. So what I want to do here, right? What I want to do is I want to create a helical stair that will go around the courtyard like this, right? That's what I want to do. And I want to do it on both sides. Luckily, this is symmetrical, so I can grab it and do it on the other side as well. I think it'll be very elegant if we did like a helical stair. I don't want to call it a spiral stair because people typically think a spiral stair is like one complete spiral, but obviously a spiral is a helix, but I just like to call it a helical stair because it is turning in a helical fashion as it's going downward. Just as a quick note, when you calculate stairs, I'll do it, I guess, through like an American context or United States context per code. So we have a floor-to-floor height of 14 feet, okay? And so if we want to calculate how many steps we need, let's first convert this to inches. So if we do 14 feet times 12, so we get 168 inches, right? Typically per code in the United States, maximum riser height is 7 inches. So if you do 168 divided by 7, right, you'll get 24 risers, okay? So that means that you need 24 risers to create a step from, or create stairs from this floor to this floor here, okay? Now, if we want to be very specific, like per code, you need a landing every 12 foot of run in stairs. You need a landing of every 12 foot of run. And so the landings are typically 5 feet long and the width of whatever per code of width of stair. But we're not going to go into that. That's just way too delved into code. I just want to show you how to create helical stairs, but I do want you to take into consideration that there are other factors when you do calculate stairs in a professional setting. But if you're in studio in school, maybe you're in a program that's really stringent on code compliance, then obviously don't forget about this aspect of the code. I just want to do one, simple helical stairs just so you understand how to do it in Rhino. So we're just going to base it off of just pure 24 steps. And again, per code, the maximum landing, the maximum tread length is around 11, or minimum is around 11 inches. Minimum, not maximum. Minimum is around 11 inches. So 7-inch max riser height, 11-inch minimum tread length. So we would know the length of the stairs if we multiply 24 by 11, and that will give us the units in inches. 24 times 11 is 264. So we do 24 risers times 11 inches equals 264 inches, right? And if we divide this by 12, right, we get around 22 feet. Let me just write it out so you understand. 264 divided by 12. This is really messy, right? You get 22 feet, right? So that means that you need a total length of 22 feet. Again, if you're going to follow code, it would probably be 22 feet, right? Plus 5 feet of landing. So you'd probably need 27 feet. But again, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do just a straight 22-foot run or a little bit longer than that. So hopefully you'll understand. And this is how you just basically calculate any kinds of stairs. If it's a decimal, you always round up. Even if it's, if let's say, for example, you get a number like 24.1, for example, instead of 24, then you need to round up to 25. Always, 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 always. You need to have just a solid number when you calculate the number of risers. So just keep that in mind. Even if it's a 0.1, round up to the next whole number because you can't have 0.1 stairs. So hopefully this will help you understand how to create stairs. If you follow this rule, always just multiply the floor-to-floor height by inches and then divide it by your maximum riser height, which will give you the number of risers, and then round up if it's a decimal. And then we'll just carry on from here. So I'm going to clear all of this. Okay, so I know that I need 22 feet of stair length, okay? Let me just go ahead and turn off this clipping plane. And I want to isolate some layers. So what I want to isolate is I actually want to isolate this floor here. I want to isolate this courtyard, and let's isolate this stair or that floor slab. So isolate. Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to duplicate the edge of this courtyard here. Okay. And I'm going to draw a line vertical from the end of this floor slab to wherever this edge of the courtyard is over here, right? So we have this. We want to offset the stairs out, okay? We want to offset the stairs out, let's say around 5 feet. So we'll give the stairs a width of 5 feet, okay? So I'll go ahead and offset 5 feet out like this. So this is how wide the stairs are going to be. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'll just pull it up, extrude it. I'm going to see where it intersects. Like this. Okay. So this is where it intersects, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do the intersect command and intersect the outer with this. This is just to find the intersection, and that's it. And I can delete this right here. So we have this. So if I draw a line vertical from here to here, right? This is what we get, okay? Let me go ahead and let's just isolate this. But I want to show something really important. If we drew a line from here to the center of this circle, right? That means the stairs would start something like this from the slab. Like you would, so this is your floor slab, and then your first step would look something like this, right? Which is a little odd. We don't want that. We want there to be like a little bit of tolerance here, so that the first step is something like this. It's more of a larger landing, and then it starts to do whatever it wants to do, you know? So what we can do is I can go ahead and I can take this. So I know that I don't want to go beyond this point over here. I'm just going to rotate this and make a copy of it and just rotate it just a little bit, you know, maybe like this much. So we get this extra length here, okay? And so what I want to do is I want to take this curve, right? And this curve and isolate it. And don't worry, I will go back and I'll re-explain why I just did this. And so I'm going to take this and I'm going to rotate this piece. Make copy, yes. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees this way because I know that for the arc length, I only need around a quarter of a circle. So this is what I'm working with the Helix, okay? So I can go ahead and I can trim, select cutting objects. I'll trim this and I'll just trim this off, right? Okay. Next thing that I'll do is I want to go ahead and I want to divide this by 24. So I do divide, right? And I'm going to click here and I want to make sure that group output is yes. And I'm going to divide this by 24 like this, okay? And then I'm going to draw another line. I have too many snaps on, to be honest. I'm going to go from here to here, okay? So I know that this right here is one of the steps that we'll have. Again, don't forget the actual floor slab is like right here, right? So we're gonna have it so that this can either be just like a straight piece like this, you know, that continues as one large landing, or we can do it so that this curves into it, into the landing. So it's just one larger first step, you know? So we have this. I'm going to do curve Boolean, and I'm going to select this, and I'm going to click here, and then press enter. Okay? And so now we have this piece here. And if I do planar surface, okay? I know for sure that we're actually starting here and we're going up. So let me just do the same thing again over here. So let me just draw a line from here and go here, right? And then curve Boolean. And I can do output surface, right? And I can select this, click right here, and it'll give me a surface. And so then what I can do now is I can take this surface here and I can extrude it up 7 inches because that's the riser. Excuse me, click on a solid dot, 7 inches, like this, right? And now to get to a helical stair, I'm gonna do array polar, okay? Select objects to array. I want to array this, enter. Select center of array. I wanna do this center. Number of items, 24, okay? Because that's from the previous command, but that's correct. You wanna array it 24 times, enter. Okay, this is really important, all right? So we want to give it a Z offset. So we want to Z offset it 7 inches, okay? That's number 1. So that means it's going to keep stepping it up 7 inches as it arrays around here. And then step in, you want to make sure rotate is correct. And so the other important thing is that where you start, your reference point of where you start, you're actually not going to start here at the beginning. You're going to start at the second point here because this first step is already part of your array, okay? So you're gonna go ahead here, right? And then your second reference point is gonna be at the very end over here. And so you see, press enter. I mean, this looks perfect. You see how each of the rises are touching each other, right? Press enter. There you go. You see? That's one way of doing it, okay? That's one way of doing the polar array. That's one way of doing it. And so you get your solid stairs like that. And let me just go to rendered view. You get your stairs like this, okay? Let me just show you another method. Instead of doing it like this, let's go ahead and let me just explode this. And I just want the surface. That's all I want. I don't want anything else, okay? I just want this. And like, let's say you wanted open risers, right? I can do array polar, the exact same thing. I want to array this. I want to start from here, right? Number of items, 24, that's correct. Z step 7 inches is just in decimal format. Everything else is correct. I want to start here and then I want to end here at the very end right there. There you go, like this, okay? So you could do like an open riser if you wanted to, okay? Let's just work with this for now and see what we get. So the next thing that we need to create is a helix. And the reason why we need to create a helix is because we want to create a side profile for the helical stairs and we want to create an underside for the helical stairs. So let's say, for example, you wanted your helical stair to be like a solid concrete mass. You need to establish that side profile for it, right? And you also need to establish the underside profile of that, which is very important. And if you're doing like an open riser, like what we're doing, what we could possibly do here, we want to draw the helical structural support underneath of that. So that's why it's really important to do helix. And the same thing goes with like the guardrail, with the guardrail to follow that. So we're going to use a command that's called helix. So we type in helix and we want it to be vertical. We want to select the vertical option because the helix is going around a vertical axis. So we'll do vertical. Start of axis up here, and then we can type in that exact distance or just use a reference point so we know this is exactly 14 feet. Okay, and now there's a couple of settings here that's important, right? The first setting is reverse twist. Maybe you see how mine is already following the stairs, but sometimes it'll go in the opposite direction like this. You don't want that. You want to just toggle between that and make sure that it's going in the same direction as your actual design element. The next thing, which is probably the most important out of all these settings, is your turn. So the number of turns you have, you need to understand this, just pure geometry. You have a full circle, right? And if we look at this in elevation as a spiral, right? As a spiral, from here to here would be one full circle. So that would be one turn or 360 degrees, right? So if we break this into quadrants, right? And each of these would be 90-degree turns or quarter turns, right? And so we know for a fact that we are turning only 90 degrees, only 190 degrees. We're turning only a quarter. So for sure, we want to make sure that our turn is only 0.25, right? Or just a quarter. So you need to understand that. So if you're doing like, a double story stair, right? You're still probably going to do one complete turn and then you're going to stop it at a landing and then copy it down multiple times. But just understand that. Understand the number of revolutions you're doing, because maybe you're not doing one complete turn or you're not doing a quarter turn. Maybe you'll do in the future like 3/4 of a turn, you know? So just understand that concept of how much you're turning. And then diameter, mine is already set to the diameter, but if your diameter or radius is bigger than this, you just click on it and then you just click on the reference point and it'll establish it for you. So let's just go ahead, and what I'll do is I actually don't want to start at the very beginning, because if I do you see how it keeps hitting? If I start here, right at the very beginning, oops, let me just get there. Hopefully my mouse doesn't, my mouse is going to move, but if I start here, it's going to hit each corner like that, right? Which I don't want. I actually want to start it right here so that it gives like a tolerance. So it'll look like this, you know? So let's say you were going to do like a solid helical stair. You want that extra, like I guess that extra relief, right? So it's important that you have that. So I want to start right here, and I'll just click there. So you see, and we get this right here. Now I could offset this, right? So I could, if I look at this in plan view, for example, if I go here onto plan view, I'm selected. First off, it's following it perfectly. I think offset, I think I did 5 feet. I can offset at 5 feet and you're done. That's one option, right? And I'll get that there, you see? The other option is I could go ahead and I could offset this, or not offset it. I could do the command again, Helix, V for vertical, and start of axis here. And I can go here and I can just click over here, right there. I have too many snaps on, so you got to be careful with that. Right? And I can just end it there, you see? Okay, so now we have these two rails basically. You see? We have these two rails. I could technically go ahead and do a sweep 2 if I wanted to. So I can draw a line, right, from here to here. Or before I do this, like you can think of this as like a steel structure. If you want this to be open risers, you can think of these as a steel structure. So if I did another helix vertical, right, and I go from here to here, and if I went to like the midpoint over here, you know, you could think of this as like 3 vertical steel supports. Maybe this is going up, I don't know, like 4 inches, like that, you know. These are 4 vertical steel supports that go in and support your steel structure, you know, like that. So that's one method, and then you can just extrude these down. So per code, I mean, for open risers in the US, you can't have a gap larger than 4 inches. You know, maybe, but I just want to show you different methods. So this is one of the methods of having like your stairs like this, right? So let's just do another one. So let's just make it, let's see how it looks like if it's solid. So I'll just hide this one for now. And let me make a new layer. Let me call it rail. Okay. And let me just change the color of this. Great. So we're going to sweep to this. So we're going to go ahead and do sweep 2. First rail, second rail, and then this will be my sweep shape right here. Does it look straight? I don't know if it looks straight. No, it does not look straight at all. Let me just... So we get something like this. I can, let's do so. So we have this. Let's do cell surface. And let's deselect this. And let's group this. I can pull these down if I wanted to, right? Like that. And maybe we can do a Boolean split. And I want to split, you know, all of these guys basically. With this. That's fine. Ungroup it. You get something like this if you wanted to. I could have technically Boolean the actual thickness of this if I wanted to. So that's one of the stair methods is like that, you know? You'll get, this is like more of like a solid stair. I could, to be honest, I could go in and explode this and just trim off this piece to get one nice solid edge, but for the purpose of this tutorial, we'll just keep it like this. Let's go ahead and do a open riser because I feel like that would look nicer, to be honest. Let's go ahead and do an open riser one because I think that would look nice. It'll make it look nice and, I guess, airy. So let's go ahead and undo this. I just want to show you all these methods. Let's stick to this one. This looks clean. And we'll extrude this down -4 inches. Like this, right? Remove from group. We don't need this. And then this here will, and then let me just bring back, let me bring back the center one. The middle one right here. It is right here, this one. Let me go ahead. You know what? Let me go ahead and offset these in like about 4 inches in so that the edge of the stairs looks like it's kind of floating, you know? So if we do offset, we'll do 4 inches. You can do this from top view. It's probably better from top view, but I'll just do it from perspective. In 4 inches and in 4 inches so that and then we'll keep these as our supports. And I'll go up. You'll see what I mean. I'll show you up close. 4 inches. There you go. So if I'm going up the stairs, you see, like you don't see like a hard edge. It's extending out a little bit. And then let me just offset surface, and let me just offset this in maybe like 2 inches. Maybe like a solid tube, you know, or a hollow tube. And then the same thing here. Flip it. 2 inches. Like this. I should have extruded up 3 inches. Excuse me, sorry about that. Because this is 4 inches down, so let me extrude this up 3 inches, not 4 inches. There we go. Now you see how it was biting into the edge before? Yeah, this is perfect. Offset this one, or offset surface. And we'll go in 1.5. Let's get a 2:1 ratio. So we'll go 1.5 inches. And flip it because I want to offset this one inward. And then this one, I want to do both sides, and I'll do 0.75 inches both sides like that. There you go. So you get this support here, you see? Technically, this would be like a straight edge that would come out and support it on the very first riser. If I do, let me just do these little tiny ones down here real fast. So if I do split, it's like the objects to split. I want to split this one and this one. Like this. Offset 4 inches. Like that, and offset 4 inches like this. Go up 3 inches like that. I won't worry about the middle one. Group. I'm just grouping everything. Okay, so now you've just done the helical stairs. Okay, now we want to do the railing, right? We want to do the rails, right? I want to go ahead and let me just bring back the outer outlines that we had from before. So let me just do hide swap, and let me grab this piece here, and let me just do Control C, hide swap, go back here. Okay. So if we remember, we had, so this is the intersecting point of the floor slab, which is going straight across. So if I draw a line straight across, this is what the floor slab is doing, right? That's what the floor slab is doing. So the landing is going, or the first, I guess the first larger step is going to look like this, right? It's going to do this. That's what it's going to do. We'll move that up to here. So let me just go ahead and just duplicate this over. I could do curved Boolean, but I just want to do different methods. Just go in here and just trim. Right? And so let's go ahead and join this planar surface. Oh, maybe I have a duplicate on here. That's why. I might have a duplicate. Yeah, that's why I have a duplicate. That's why curved Boolean is a great command instead of doing them like this, but I just want to show you the differences. Planar surface. Let me change this to the stair. That will go here. Move it up to here. There you go. So that's how the stair would be, and we'll trim this off right here, and we'll go down like this. Then we can do Boolean split. It's because it's grouped, that's why. And this is also grouped. I can also extract isocurve, or I can do dupe face border, right? And I can explode this, and I can offset this curve in 4 inches like that, right? And I can offset this curve in 4 inches, right? And I can do extract isocurve if I wanted to. And let me toggle. Let me extend this one here. Let me go ahead and move vertical. Like this, and go down -3 inches. Offset surface. Flip it. Open this. If I want to get that middle one, I can just draw a line from here to here, right? And do offset this one, and then type in deeper distance for a reference from here to here, like this, right? And then just like this, right? Bring this one down. Offset both sides, offset surface both sides for this one. I just Boolean union and I group them together. So get this. And again, this is going to connect into the floor slab anyway, so you won't see it. Great. Okay, now let's do the guardrails, but I wanted to get this set first before we did that. So again, let me go back and just bring back the helix, the vertical helix. Let me just do a command helix V for vertical. From here to here. Make sure my layers are good. Stair rail, that's good. This should actually be like a stair structure command, to be honest. Let me go here. Do the same thing, V for vertical. I like to be redundant. I know it can be a little annoying, but I like to be redundant with my commands. Go here to here, like that. And then I want to grab this piece here. So if I do split, select object to split, I want to split this and this with, I guess, this and this and these. Okay, so we get this curve here, we'll grab that, this and this, right? Let me go ahead and join it. Let me go ahead and move this up 42 inches, or I guess, yeah, we'll do 42 inches for now. Okay, in reality, like if per code, like this should extend out, you know, like 12 inches beyond the riser, and this extends into the depth of the last tread. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, to be honest here. This is just for like pure design purposes, not like per code, but I can extend it out a little more if I wanted to, you know, maybe like, I'll just type in 12 inches here. The same thing here. I'll type in, well, before I do that, actually, I want to offset these guards in a little bit more, right? I want to offset these ends. And let me actually grab these curves as well. I think they're still on here somewhere. If not, dupe edge, dupe edge. Move these up to here like this. And trim. Like this. Okay, so now we have these guys here. Let me change this layer to, make a new layer, call it stair structure. And there we go. So this is stair rail. Okay, great. You should be accurate in your layering because it helps you when you start diagramming things. So we have this here. So if I go to plan view, let's go to shaded. So we have this piece here. So I want to offset. Let's offset in like 4 inches. So we'll take this here, offset 4 inches like that. And then offset 4 inches like this. And again, don't forget, this line is where that floor slab is. Once I hide everything, you'll see. Or unhide it and show everything. So let's just go here. And this one, trim. I just want to trim that piece off. Let's just go. You see, let me just go ahead and hide these. I don't want it, I want the guard to be on the actual edge, not the edge, off of the edge of the stairs. And then let me just trim. Just want to trim that up. Okay. Fantastic. Let's just extend these a little bit beyond the stairs, like 12 inches, 12 inches, like that. And let's draw a line vertical. This will go down here like this. And this will go down here like this. Oops, line, V for vertical. Like that. Great, beautiful. Okay, so what we want to do now is I want to give this like little tiny balustrades of the column, you know, or like little tiny guards over here. So technically you can't have, like if you have the rails, you can't, the spacing here can't be more than 4 inches apart, you know? And you can calculate that if I just type in length, right? That's 41.63 feet, right? And so if I do 41.63 times 12, that's 499, basically 500 inches. And if I divide that by 4, so I need to divide this by like 124 times if I want to get a like a 4-inch division. So we'll do 124 just so you see what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna go ahead and let me just make a new layer for this, and we'll call it Stair Rail Guards, because I want this to be a completely different layer. And we'll do gold, a weird gold color. No, we'll do like that. And so let's just divide this. Make sure group output is on 124, like that. You see? Same thing here. Divide this, 124, right? And so this is all selected now. You see, these are grouped. And I could literally just take these and I could just extrude them down. You see? Like this. And let me just do cell points. Let me just hide them. Like this. And then if I do render, you know, maybe you don't like this aesthetic style. Maybe you want to do just, you know, pure glass. Technically, we actually don't need anything on this edge here. We just need one on the outside. You really don't. You just need a handrail here, to be honest. Maybe that's what we do. Maybe we just get rid of the inside one and just keep the outside one. You'll see shaded. Let's take this one and go down. Like that. Great. And this one we'll just keep as is. Maybe let's get rid of these points. Let's just like, no, we don't need anything here actually. We can just keep this like this. Let me just draw a line vertical that goes down. So it should be like this. And then let me hide these points. And let's select objects and let's just group them. And I think this is grouped. Let's split this with this. Yep, if we do remove from group, you can start deleting them. I'm going to fast forward through this section. Just probably skip this section so you don't have to see me do that. But yeah, I mean, you could also make this out of glass if you wanted to. So remove from. Okay, so this is how it's looking so far with everything on here. You see, it's really nice and light. I mean, as like a design perspective, it's like we have these really heavy stairs on the outside. You want something like nice and light on the inside, you know? So you can go down these stairs like this. You can walk through the bridge. So let's go back and just finish these rails. I know it's distracting. We'll distract ourselves and look at this, but let's just go back and let's go back and finish this rail, which is really easy. Let me just select objects, select objects. This is why layers are so, not this one. I'll just click on it. Isolate it. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to pipe this as a rail. So let me just click on, let's do this, join this, join this. So stair, yep. So let's just join that, pipe it, diameter. Let's do like 1.25. Well, that's actually big. The circumference just needs to be around like 1 1/4 circumference. 2 pi r. We'll just do 1 inch. Like that. That's a pipe right there. And then we'll pipe this one, join this one. Line, vertical. Should be stair rail, to be honest. Join. This should also be stair rail layer. There we go. Like that. And then let's select this. And let's pipe these. Diameter of maybe like 1/2 inch diameter. Oops, I gotta select objects. It's locked, excuse me, so I have to unlock. And I think I need to just, because remember this was an extension. Okay. Select objects. And let's just pipe it, diameter 0.5 inches. Like that. To be honest, I think that's still a little too big. I don't like that. I'm going to pipe it 1/4 of an inch. Pipe diameter 0.25 inches. There you go. Perfect. So these stairs are done now. Like everything is done on these stairs. So let's just do unisolate Let me just do cell curves. Let me hide the curves for now. I have all these things that are just showing up now because I think I accidentally pressed show. Cell point, let's hide the points. We hide this. Hide this. Again, remember how last session I made a duplicate? It's very helpful to have the duplicates here when you want to make like a process diagram before you do all the cuts. You have this here. Great. In hindsight, after looking at this, what I think I would have done is I actually would have made the cut even more. Like I would have given myself like a 10-foot threshold so that this isn't so close as someone's walking down, you know? So if I turn on the clipping plane, just so I can, let's turn on the clipping plane. You know, you're gonna get something like this. All right, let me go ahead and turn off this clipping plane. And then let's go to shaded. Let's hide this. Select objects. What do this? Let's just group these together. What I love about Rhino grouping is that it always maintains layers. It's so helpful. Make sure these stairs are grouped. Make sure the structure is grouped, which it is. So let me group all these stairs together. Great. And then let me isolate. So you could copy this and rotate this around if you wanted to have two sets of stairs. If you did rotate and make sure, select the object, you have the copy as yes, right? And then you go from this center point to here. The only thing is that this needs to be mirrored actually, not just copied. Let me show you why. So if I go here, right? And then reference this point here, everything is perfect. Like everything is following what it should follow. It's just that the landing needs to be extended a little bit more here, right? If you wanted to do that. So there's two options. You can either just extend this out and create a new surface for the landing, or you can just rotate it until it intersects a little bit inside. It's really your choice. Let's do rotate. And we won't do copy. Like this, you know? No one's ever gonna know. Let me just hide this again. Unisolate, you know? So you get something like this. So let's say that you want to give this courtyard glass, you know, these radial frames. Again, I just want to cover the polar array command. So what you'll do is, we can just dupe edge this right here, and then we'll draw a line. And let me draw a line from center. And let me make sure what project is on. Draw a line from center. And just, I'm going to ignore our previous divisions for now. I'm going to ignore these previous divisions, okay? And just draw something similar to it. Yeah, just right here. Let me just extend it until it hits the actual. Okay. And then I'll draw a line from there inward. I'll draw a line from in here that's like 4 inches deep, like this, right? That looks like 4 feet. Draw a line in here, 4 inches. I guess because I'm so zoomed in. And then we'll go back to shading view. And I'll make this really tall for now. Really, really tall. Like this, right? And then let me do offset surface. And we'll do, make sure it's both sides and solid. And we'll do like 0.5 inches, like that, right? And I can do array polar. I want to array this. Center of the polar array is here. Number of items, I'm going to say 50. And angle, oops. I clicked on something, excuse me. I can type in 360 to be honest if I wanted to. Like that, you know? Oh, sorry. The Z step has to be, Z offset has to be 0. Like that. And so that's a polar array of 50. This is actually way too much. Let's bring it down to like, let's do 25. There you go, like that. Enter. Fantastic. And then you could just slice this off with a Boolean difference from this surface here if you wanted to. Like, let me just turn off the frames layer and let me just take this one and let me just go to top view real fast. And let me just offset it out like 2 inches. Outside 2 inches. And let me just go ahead and just patch it. And these settings are fine. This is actually a lot of pieces, but it's okay. Patch it. And then let me just, this is select objects. And let me just isolate. And let me just do Boolean split. Select, I'll just select everything here for now. There we go, nice. And so, let's always off. Isolate. There you go. You get all these frames here. Turn this back on. There you go. Very good. And then, you know, we could add rails on here too for the openings here, right? So if I do face border here, right? We could extrude this up and add rails the exact same way that we did here, right? So I could take this curve up here and move it up like this, you know? We don't need this curve here, right? And so like, and the same thing here, like I can trim, so like, I don't need any of this stuff over here. Right, so like this here, right? I can divide this, I can pipe it, I can divide it by whatever the length is to give me the 4 inches, right? And then I can do the exact same thing like we did here, pull these down, right? And then pipe this diameter 1 inch, right? Do the exact same thing. So I just want to show you review. This looks great. I mean, I think this is really helpful. This covers a lot of steps for people who are in architectural design programs that need to cover how to start to make things a little bit more real in their architectural design. And so this is the second part of this video where we're really just focusing on how to create a helical stairs or a spiral stairs, understanding the helix command, understanding the polar array command. And so the next video that we're going to create, it's going to be focusing on the roof structure, primarily the roof structure, and giving it, again, another layer of reality. So if you have any comments or questions, just please leave it in the comment section below. And again, pay attention to the other video that's coming out with this video, which is going to be about structure. Thank you.